Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Beyond the Veil, a podcast on psychic protection, spiritual hygiene, and navigating the ebbs and flows of the healing journey as you learn to master both your sovereign and shadow selves. My name is Lauren on Earth, your host. And last week we talked a lot about artificial intelligence, the difference between artificial intelligence and light technology, and I'm going to keep it going this week because I've been quite focused myself on understanding Elon Musk as a being and his intention and role in all of this. So obviously, he's very interested in the progression of humanity through AI. And so we're going to do a little deep dive on him, what I feel is going on between the relationship with him and Trump, and just kind of, yeah, keep going on the topic of artificial intelligence. And before I do that, I just wanted to share a personal story, something that happened yesterday, because I feel it's a really good example of why doing the shadow work and the clearings are so important. So, as you guys know, I have a brain tumor. I've known about it for maybe almost 7 years now. And there's a reason that I kept it quiet. I even had a friend the other day ask me about it and say, I didn't even know until you posted it. And I got that a lot. And it was intentional because I knew it wasn't safe to talk about. And I knew that I was still battling these dark forces. And so I kept it close to my chest because I know there are, maybe not so much anymore, but at least I know there were a lot of people watching me, listening to my content. I even had, with not good intention. I've cleared over the years so much black magic over me, or attempted black magic over me, over my business, coming through social media, jealousy, and yeah, it wasn't the time. And once I had my immunity, then obviously I was a lot safer to talk about it, and it felt like the right time. So just to give everyone an update, I never once felt this impending doom around it. I mean, maybe when the diagnosis first came out, I was really scared and I was really young, and obviously the doctors weren't helpful. And so I knew that I needed to keep healing and working on my health. And there were other health issues that kind of took priority. And I don't want to say priority, but there's a path with all of this, right? So in order to understand the tumor and to address it and to know where it's coming from, there were things that I was just following the path of all of the things that I needed to do for healing. And, now I'm able to focus more on shrinking the tumor because I'm no longer dealing with a group of dark witches that are literally trying to harm me and trying to hurt me. So I've had a couple of people reach out to me lately saying they're getting messages about the tumor and want to work on me. And I appreciate the support. And I feel like a lot of it is good intention, but at the same time, what I really felt like was someone, whether it was this cult or another group, was trying to get to me through another person. And so, I politely declined. And then I had a client, someone in my community that also was a part of the other community. And she messaged me and just said, Hey, I basically had a vision of you having a seizure, and I just wanted to let you know. And that was, that's a kind of a scary thing to hear. Is this a foreshadowing? Is this a message? Is there truth to this? So I sat with it and I'm like, okay, is this a very loud and clear in my face message that I need to slow down? I need to, you know, give myself some space, or this is going to happen, or what's going on. And I had a lot of dreams last night. And basically, this morning, I dropped into meditation to after I moved a lot of energy to ask. And the answer, and it's 11:11 right now, the answer that I got was no, this is not a foreshadowing. This is the distortion. This is this group that still, has infiltration and their claws, for lack of a better term, in this person, because the person left the community, but not fully, right? It's like leaving the community is like the first step. And then there is a lot of work that comes along with that. And for me, it was thousands of hours of clearing, dozens of ayahuasca ceremonies, of psilocybin ceremonies, of combo, purging this energy out, right? So the distortion can no longer affect me, affect my channel. And so the message I was getting was this is them trying to get to me, and using again the fear, because that's what they do. For those who, I mean, I've never said this before, but I was hit with cease and desist letters to scare me, to have me stop talking about this. So, there's been a couple of instances lately where I'm kind of getting this message that even though I don't feel it anymore at all, and I've pretty much, moved past this, I'm talking about it still, but I'm talking about it through the lens of education to, teach from what I experienced and what I learned. But just getting these messages that they're still trying, right? They're still wishing ill will. And that's exactly what this vision was them projecting that ill will onto me, wanting that to happen, not wanting me to heal. So I'm sharing this because, if I didn't have the abilities that I had and didn't know any better, like if someone said this to me 5 years ago, it would have absolutely spiraled me. And it's not on the person. Like, I am so grateful for her share, and I want her to keep sharing, as these things come up. It's not on that person. It's more, okay, uh, using your discernment to understand like where this message is coming from and why. And so it was very helpful for me, because it let me know that even though I'm not tuned into it, I'm not feeling it, it's not reaching me, it's still happening, which was, I should know these things. And bringing up this really important point for others who are leaving or have left communities like this, where the game is not over just because you left. And there are other ways that they are still manipulating you, still using you and using your energy, if you have not completely cut that off and purged it out of you. So just a message to anyone who's going through this right now. I really, 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 really encourage you to keep going with the shadow work, the energy work, to invest in it, because it's likely affecting your abundance and your business. If you have one, it's affecting your relationships, your health. And so the answers are within and within the clearing. So keep going. I'm encouraging you to keep going with it, keep working at it. And I think by the time this comes out, actually, I think by the time this comes out in 2 days, we start the Sacred Dark mentorship. So if this is you, whether it's leaving a community or something else where you're navigating this shadow and this distortion, join us for the mentorship. It's 3 months. We're going to be diving as deep as we possibly can, understanding these dark forces and how this energy manifests within our system in a very advanced level, and learning how to pull it out and transmute it and alchemize it. So 2 days we begin. If this calls to you, please join us. So that's all I wanted to share, and let's get into the episode. So last week I gave an introduction to artificial intelligence. And the week before, I'm talking about the election, and so it just feels right to keep it going and do a deep dive on Elon Musk, because he's connected to both. In the last episode, I talked about transhumanism and how I believe there are a group of souls who are trying to create that trajectory for humanity, a group of souls or elites or the elites who are on board with this vision. I don't know if it's coming from the very top or if there are other groups that are trying to push this trajectory onto humanity. But I do feel there are two groups on this planet, two main groups. There's the satanic forces, the fallen angelics, and then there's the galactic higher dimensional groups, and they are both working together. But there is no loyalty. At the end of the day, they both want the same thing and they're both not going to get it. So they're working together, but ultimately one is going to try to come out on top. We know that they both wind up losing in the end, but it does all come back to the same source, right? Christ or Antichrist. So these negative galactic groups are serving the Antichrist, even though they're a bit farther away from that energy. And the fallen angelics, the demonic energies, the underworlds, that group, they are also serving the Antichrist, the satanic energies, and they're a lot closer to it. So with Elon Musk, my alarm bells go off, my intuition, my discernment. I have always gotten the message not to trust him, but since he's kind of come back and there's all this, stuff with him with the election, it's just strong and it's yelling at me. So here we are. So, I really feel like he has his own self-serving intentions. He's trying to steer the world in a direction that might not be the best thing for us. And as I mentioned in the last episode, we are organic beings. We need to flow with the natural cycles of the planet. And whatever he's involved in is not that. It's taking us farther away from that. I do believe in positive technology. Obviously, that's the light technology, right? And there's some things that he's doing that are beneficial, but to me, it's a kind of like a cover up of, oh, look what we're doing. It's good for you. But in reality, there's so much happening behind the scenes. It's this inorganic technology that mimics creation, artificial technology that can be better in some ways, but not in others. And a lot of it is mind control. And they're trying to create this conscious life form or from an unconscious source. So let's get into it. Who is Elon Musk? He was actually born in South Africa. I did not know that, and holds citizenship in South Africa, Canada, and the United States. He has a total of 12 children between three different women. And I just want to say that anytime someone is reproducing like this, I'm going to call it an orange flag. It's something that should trigger thought and something I always want to look deeper into, because one of the main signs of a dark soul or a service to self soul, like a reptilian, is this incessant desire to reproduce, aka seed the bloodline. And I noticed this 4 years ago with, I don't know if you guys remember, but I talked about basically having a reptilian roommate that was my ex's best friend. And he was just like this need and desire to put a baby in her as soon as possible. And I think within 6 months of them knowing each other, they were married with child on the way. And I'm like, oh, this is what they do. And I also have a lot of clients who have had children with reptilian men, and who I'm trying to help through this, because it's it's a very difficult path. But this isn't always the case, because, for example, the chief of the Yawanawa tribe has 60 children. And at first I was like, whoa, that's a lot. But he was guided to do this, to procreate by the medicine, by a higher spirit, because their tribe was dying out. So in 2005, the Yawanawa had about 500 members in their tribe, and now that number is over 1,500. So he was saving his tribe. and he was guided by spirit to save their people. So it's not always the case that there's a self-serving reason for extreme procreation, but I find the majority of the time it is this strong desire to siphon that sexual energy and seed their distorted DNA into a bloodline, which is exactly what I believe allegedly Elon Musk is doing, because he does have this very unique code of DNA and he is genius, you know? So he has 6 children with his first wife. Her name is Justine. They met in college, I believe, and were together for about 8 years. They had 6 children during that time. One who passed away young from SIDS. Then they had a set of twins and a set of triplets, all born between 2002 and 2006. In their divorce, she only received 4.2 million and a Tesla with 6 children to take care of. And to just put into perspective, he gave Trump 120 million for his campaign and 4.2 million to the mother of his 6 children. He married someone else after Justine before meeting Grimes, who many of you know, she's a DJ. This other person, they were also together for 8 years, but had no children because she didn't want them. But he was okay with that and stayed with her. And in their divorce, he gave her 130 million. So I don't know what happened between the two of them, but to have such a vast difference in the support that they were given. But I feel like she definitely knows something that can take him down. And I don't know. So anyway, then he gets together with Grimes. Her name is Claire Boucher, which is like it's a beautiful name, but like such a normal name, and she's so far from normal. They have a couple children. The first two, so I cannot pronounce their names. It's a crazy name, but they're referred to as X and Y, and they were born in 2020 and 2021. I actually remember, now that I'm thinking about it, seeing a video of how to pronounce X's name. It's spelled XAE, which X is pronounced normal, AE is pronounced ash, and so X-ash, and that's Grimes. She came up with that. And then A12 was added by Elon after Archangel 12, which is a plane. So XAE-A12 is the name. Then he has 2 more children with this woman, Siobhan Zillis, who is a Neuralink executive, twins again in November of 2021. So, like, all around the same time, he's having children with 2 different women. And then Y with Grimes was born December 2021. So, 1 month apart. Then he has another child with Grimes after the Neuralink exec named Techno Mechanus in September of 2023. And then another child with the Neuralink exec after that in the beginning of 2024, and the name and details have not been disclosed to the public. So I don't know the name of this child. As you guys know, I'm in the EDM world, and Grimes is a DJ. Never seen her play, have never even listened to her music. I don't resonate with her. And just like Elon, she gives me otherworldly vibes, but not in a positive way. Otherworldly as in alien and foreign, but coming from a dark world, right? There's otherworldly, like those ethereal humans you meet who do have these alien features, these etheric features, but it's luminous, it's angelic, it's light, like, beings from Andromeda, or a lot of people you see with this angelic presence and these angelic features. I feel those people like invoke this sense of home or curiosity or even peace, right? It's this beauty that emanates. And it's not to say Grimes is not beautiful, because she is in her own way. It's just the vibe she gives off makes me feel uncomfortable. And so it's, that's just my opinion. And maybe others, disagree with me, and that's okay. Grimes and Elon have this otherworldly aura, but it invokes this sense of unease, this foreign energy that carries shadow or mystery rather than light. You know what I mean? As if they're embodying this dystopian or chaotic realm, which I believe they are. And to me, it's just really unsettling. And as we know about these darker realms, with these service to self beings, they do embody these themes around this raw, unrefined power, which can be oppressive or feel oppressive. And I feel this oppressive energy that he gives off. And ego, very, very, very strong ego. Like he knows everything, you know, and he knows a lot. So I won't deny that, but it's an energy. I believe Elon comes from a dark world, a world in service to self, a world disconnected from God, a world full of artificial intelligence and transhumanism. And he comes from a place that is far more advanced than a lot of the technology that we've had accessible to us in the Milky Way, or at least in the star systems we know of in the Milky Way. Like it's just different. And the realm he's connected to is similar to the realm where the founder of Atlantis is from. And that's the only time I've seen a similarity. So what I channeled, this was a while ago, is because I was doing these readings for a while, and I think they're still on my website for anyone who wants to learn about your Lemurian or Atlantean lifetimes. I kept it up because I just love doing them and they're so insightful. But I was doing these readings for a while and I'm learning more about Atlantis through, the lens of experiencing these lifetimes that clients have had. And every lifetime, I felt this cold, uneasy feeling and was just getting like, this is Atlantis. Like, this was the energy of Atlantis. And there were a soul or a group of souls who came here and created Atlantis. They came here, they wanted to create this replica of their home world. And it was this cold, dark, synthetic, artificial place, very sterile, very mechanical, all synonyms also to describe Elon Musk, in my opinion, because Atlantis never felt warm. It never felt like love, no motherly energy, right? Unlike Lemuria, which we already know because Atlantis became the polar opposite of Lemuria, always a balance. That was the whole point. And Lemuria was home of the mother spirit, the heart, the feminine. So of course, Atlantis is going to be the masculine and the opposing energy to all that Lemuria embodied. So there are many realms and worlds like that out there, and it is archonic. And so on top of that, and I'm just thinking about this now because I went to see Of the Trees this weekend, and every time there are certain DJs, every time I go to their shows, I have these epiphanies and these huge breakthroughs. And one of the breakthroughs was clearing another layer of AI. This one was within me, of the most sophisticated AI I have ever seen in my life. And it looked like light. And I saw this like robot figure, which was like, okay, this is AI, something's wrong. But it was kind of like this silvery, shiny white light of all of these machines, these structures that I was clearing. Where at first I'm like, oh, is light coming in? And I'm like, no, this is not light. This is very, very, very sophisticated AI, some of the most sophisticated AI that is in my system. And I am going to tell another story about this. I'm going to do a separate episode because I discovered during the whole 8-8 situation, there is this man on Mount Shasta who is doing just atrocious things, these tours. And I have so many experiences where that's where I really discovered this sophisticated AI, because I had never seen it like this before. And he's using it, he's working with it, and he also works with these false Arcturians, but then hosts these Arcturian retreats, and they're not Arcturians at all. They're literally false beings that are pretending to be Arcturian. So I have another story on the sophisticated advanced AI, and I'm just going to leave it at that for now, but that will come. I'll probably do another episode on AI a little bit later down the line. So, anyway, that cleared from my system. And I was like, wow, so timely because I'm deep diving into Elon Musk and we're talking about AI. And here it is, it's revealed, right? So, anyway, on the topic of Grimes, one thing that I found interesting, and I'm not judging because I relate to this in a way. I have my own fears around motherhood, but she has three children, four children, three, I can't remember, and has come out to say in interviews that she does not identify with being a mother. And her children call her C or Claire. And she says being a mother feels weird. And they also did use a surrogate to have their second child, even though she says like she does want more children with him. So now, just to give a little update of where everyone is with all of these, baby mamas, apparently Elon and Grimes are looking for a house for everyone, all the children and the baby mamas to live together in LA. And according to the internet, which I believe is just a bunch of BS, Elon believes in the importance of having a large family and wants to procreate in this way because he's trying to address the declining birth rates. No, you're trying to seed a bloodline and seed your DNA. We are not underpopulated. And that's what he's saying. And he's saying that we've been underpopulated for the last 50 years. To me, this is so false. We can't even take care of who's here now, which is why so many millennials are not having children. It's like this intuitive feeling, I think. Although Elon sees it a lot differently, I know that we don't really listen to our leaders anyway, but it does go against what all of our leaders are saying, who are proudly promoting depopulation. Cue Bill Gates. It's his greatest passion. So he as an Elon is getting the message that we are underpopulated and need to procreate more. To me, that is such false information. Either he knows who he's communicating with and knows that it's, part of this agenda that he has been contracted to lead, or he's not aware that it's not God that he's speaking to. But I kind of feel like he knows exactly what he's doing. Just we're not on board with it. Now, let's address some of these theories that have been kind of floating around the spiritual community about Elon, because some say he's from Andromeda, and some say he's a gray. So I don't believe either of those. I do see Andromedan energy. So he definitely carries Andromedan energy. I got a yes to him having lifetimes there, but he's not from there. And he's not an accurate embodiment and representation of Andromedan energy. And that's a very important differentiation. So, like I mentioned above, his energy is cold and mechanical, but he does have this Andromedan energy in his aura, like this violet, which I will not deny. The Andromedan energy is lovely, it's inviting, it's warm, it's soft. So you can't say he's Andromedan. Just like I would never say I'm Pleiadian, but I have Pleiadian DNA and I've had lifetimes there and I carry Pleiadian code, but I'm not Pleiadian. You know what I mean? There's a difference. And I feel like this is a result of the new age distorted teachings where you're not. I told you the only person, soul, quote unquote, that I've ever encountered that was born in the Milky Way galaxy, and it's not even like a real person, was the woman from the cult from the last episode, where she was born / created in the Milky Way. I've done hundreds of galactic reports at this point, and uh, nobody so far has been born in the Milky Way. So it's like you're not from Andromeda, you're not from the Pleiades as in your core origins, but you've probably had lifetimes there and maybe many lifetimes there. And so he, has had lifetimes obviously in other star systems in the Milky Way, but he's from somewhere else. So some people say he's a reincarnation of Nikola Tesla. I don't see that either. They are not the same soul. They have different journeys, different intentions. Nikola Tesla, his intention was inventing technology that made life easier and better. And Elon Musk isn't doing this to better humanity for any reason other than his own agenda. He's creating technology that can better humanity and marketing it that way, but his business mission statements claim that, but there's more to it. There's more going on. They have different hearts, different auras. It's just not the same soul. Tesla was trying to provide free energy, so he created these Tesla coils to transfer energy without the need for wires. So, wireless energy across the globe without harnessing the Earth's natural energy. This was in 1901. In 1901, 100 plus years ago. In 1904, Thomas Edison, who we all know because we've been taught about him, right, had the idea to monopolize on it and have people pay for it. And so, what did we go with? We went with Thomas Edison, Battle of Light and Dark. Edison was also the first to establish an electrical utility company, General Electric, and he also didn't invent the light bulb. I remember history telling us this, that he invented the light bulb, I guess a long time ago. I don't know what kids are being taught now. He was just the first to create one that was widely adopted and used. I don't know if you guys knew this. I didn't know this, but Tesla worked for Edison in the early 1880s until their ideologies diverged, meaning they no longer had the same vision, mission, and intention. Difference on vision regarding electricity. What could that mean? Maybe Tesla saw what Edison was doing, saw the darkness, saw the control, and didn't want to be any part of it. Elon Musk, he would have been part of it. You see what I'm saying? It's not the same person. So, free versus controlled energy, we know who was on board with what. And as we've seen over and over again, the dark has overpowered the light, the dark has overpowered the light. And I feel like until now, until we're finally pivoting. So this stuff really triggers me because you figure out the real history and I just don't understand how people still do not see that the government is choosing money and power over bettering humanity and society. And it's been happening forever and it hasn't changed, like they haven't started to do better now. I feel like with Tesla and Edison, the difference too, obviously I do feel it's a battle of light and dark, but Edison was also a master marketer and businessman. And he didn't just invent things, he created companies to mass produce and market them. And so Tesla was, a bit more eccentric. He was openly claimed to communicate with aliens, even though that was not really accepted at the time. He kind of gave that mad scientist vibe, while Edison was, this smart businessman. It kind of reminds me of like Kamala and Trump in a way of like Trump looks very erratic and Kamala is a little bit more put together. Edison also has more money, which helped his success, and Tesla was struggling financially. And Edison claimed himself as an inventor or the inventor, even when he really wasn't, while Tesla didn't want to take credit for his inventions and worked under somebody else, like with the air conditioning. So it's kind of crazy too to think about like the war on currents I never even knew happened. Because you think about Edison and Tesla and why Edison came out on top. And yeah, he was, smarter in terms of marketing and, providing this everyday practical technology accessible to the public, where Tesla struggled more mentally. And he also was, beyond his time, and he was more invested in inventing things that maybe we as humans weren't quite ready for. So this makes me think, like, I mean, I know the answer to it, but like, I'm going to ask the question anyway. Was this part of war on consciousness? Was Tesla's blueprint and energy being compromised so Edison would win the war on currents? Was this some sort of attack on his consciousness so he wasn't able to find success in this, or was this just an honest battle of survival of the fittest? Because if this were happening right now, it would be so obvious to say the dark is compromising the light. So one thing that I was picking up on when I was doing those Atlantis readings with Tesla is that he was there during Atlantis, and he did play a big role in the evolution of technology. Obviously, we know it was dark technology, it was distorted, and it played a really big role in why Atlantis fell. So he came back in 1901 or in the 1900s to try to clear some of that karma and right the wrongs, but the government still had control over him. And so he wasn't fully able to do that. I do feel he will be back. I do not feel it is Elon Musk. And side note, I don't know why this is coming to me right now, but I'm observing what's going on the world stage, and I'm going to keep talking about it with you guys. So I don't know if you saw the fight between Mike Tyson and I think Jake Paul is the name, but that was so weird. I happened to watch it because I was at a friend's house, and I'm telling you, that was 100% a humiliation ritual and a way to siphon energy and money. Like there was something more going on there. So I don't know, that just came to me randomly. But anyway, back to Elon Musk talking about being a good businessman. We'll give him that. He's had several ventures, co founding PayPal, SpaceX. Which, by the way, is funding Mars colonization. We'll talk about that. But Musk joined Tesla in 2004 and is now the CEO and product architect. Neuralink, which basically, according to the internet, is a technology to treat neurological conditions. The Boring Company, which develops underground transportation infrastructure. Like, you mean tunnels underground? And then acquired Twitter, now known as X. Interesting though, PayPal was named X and then became PayPal after a merger. So twice he's tried to name a business X, which I just found interesting. So he's in the financial system, he's in the underground, the lower earth, he's in the sky, and the brain. Got it. So going back to Neuralink, I just want to play this clip for you with Musk in an interview describing it. And of course, the internet spins this positive, right? To heal the brain, to restore motor function, to enhance human cognition. And yeah, I do feel like that's part of it, a small part of it. There's so much more going on behind the scenes that they're not telling us, these projects that they're working on. And he even says one of the goals is brain to brain communication. And I was like, so telepathy? We don't need an artificial intelligence to use telepathic abilities. Like, come on. Is this technology going to record everything we think and say? I feel like probably. So, no thanks. We could just do the inner work and evolve organically, and we will all be able to telepathically communicate with each other. It's kind of simple. You don't need Neuralink, you don't need chips in your brain. And they also did several testings on pigs and monkeys. And in this study, okay, the pigs and the monkeys were able to communicate and interact with computers. So they could control computers and interact using their brains. It's just like a no from me. And just another good example of why Tesla and Musk are not the same person. And Trump and Musk's friendship is alarming to me. I wish Trump could just be a good person. Like, I wish it could just be that easy where we have someone in office who like really, really has like truly the best intentions, not like slightly better than evil intentions, you know? And actually saw this clip of Biden asking if he thinks Elon Musk is a threat to US security, and he laughs and basically said, I'm not saying he's doing anything, but I think it should definitely be looked at. He's saying it without saying it. And speaking of Biden, he was acting like he had pretty severe dementia throughout his whole term. And all of a sudden, he's just different. And I don't know if you caught this, but when Trump was at the White House, they had this picture with a handshake. And it looks like they're doing a Freemason handshake without it being so obvious in front of a fire. I'm like, what? Are they working together? What is this relationship? How is there just such a shift? You know, it's like you think about Jill Biden wearing all red to go vote and the smile on Biden's face. But then he's doing things like trying to start World War III right before Trump gets into office. So I'm just observing and I'm like, I'm making sense of this is very complicated. But again, they're using black magic to keep us from really, really seeing the truth, you know? So we're all trying our best. We're all speculating. We know something weird is going on, but they do have these shields over them. So it's like hard for us to really, really, really see it. And I think that's, you know, what Musk will be doing with whatever this relationship is. So there's been these warnings, right? And this is in the Bible of a false Messiah, false God, beware of the false Messiah. People are thinking it's Elon. It could be. I mean, he's a false something in my eyes. Maybe. And then I can't remember if it's in the Bible or the book of Enoch, but they talk about the three ways that the Antichrist is going to appear, like the three times the Antichrist will appear. I can't remember the first one. The second one was Hitler. And then people are speculating that the third one is Musk and that he will present the mark of the beast. And the mark of the beast is 666, and his company Neuralink, when you do I can't remember the name of it, but put it through that numerology thing, gematria, I think it's called, that is 666. That's the mark of the beast, the chip. Yeah, I believe all of that. I believe he will be presenting the mark of the beast, and maybe he is a version of the Antichrist because of that. Okay, the mark of the beast was talked about in the book of Revelations. I feel like the book of Revelations is honestly like kind of dark, but it describes this allegiance to the beast who represents evil and opposition to God during end times. So there have been these great resets, and I feel like it's kind of possible that it's coming for us again. And I see a lot of people kind of speculating that as well. It's kind of funny because I asked my partner if he thought there would be another reset, and he's intuitive, you know, in his own way and aware of a lot of these conspiracies, but never knew the information that I was receiving on it. And he was like, yeah, I think maybe in 100 years is my hunch, if it, you know, does ever happen. And what I was getting was the year 2100, which is like kind of 100 years. So pretty close. And I just kind of thought that was funny. But yeah, people are kind of taking the mark of the beast to mean like end times, you know, like the end times are coming is kind of why I diverted to that knowledge. And I don't know, like I don't have clear, it doesn't make sense to me like to have a great reset in 100 years. I mean, unless something like really insane happens. But if we continue to progress and heal and evolve, like what's the point of that, you know? So anyway, some people take the mark of the beast literally, figuratively. Some think it refers to a chip. Some think it's a metaphor for choosing corruption over spirituality, or that it represents technological advancements that basically infringe on our freedoms, like digital tracking. All I feel are correct, you know, I'm sure. But anyway, so recent updates, Elon launched a SpaceX Starship into space a few days ago. I'm recording this on November 21st. So if there's new news that has come out since, it's not going to be covered here. But he did launch a Starship into space. They had to do an emergency landing in the ocean. In the ocean. If you're down that rabbit hole, you get what I'm saying. The ocean is going to be a whole other topic, but why are we going down into the ocean with this starship? And we're going to get into it next week, but I'll be talking a lot about the firmament and basically the theory that we live in a firmament and we can't go up, but we can go down. So there's a lot coming out right now about our oceans, about demons that live within the oceans that survived the great floods. So there's something to that. And so I'm just going to share, lastly, my thoughts on Trump and Elon's friendship, because Trump announced that Elon would co lead this newly created government department called the Department of Government Efficiency, which is intended to reduce federal bureaucracy or like cut waste and streamline government operations, which like sounds good to me, like the the technology needs to be updated, but at what cost and what are you really doing? I don't know. I do feel that they are both trying to expose something. So we'll see how it plays out. But it's like one dark being pointing the finger at another dark being. You know what I mean? So I think that Trump will maybe get fooled by Musk. I don't think Musk is actually trying to help him. I mean, he is, but not for him or for us, for his own self serving purposes. And I feel that his relationship with Elon Musk could be his downfall. I believe Musk saw an opportunity to use him. Like he can easily manipulate him. He's an idiot. He'll buy into it. I think he did help him win this election and used his platforms and his money to do so. But why? So maybe you knew this, maybe not, but Musk's co founder of PayPal, Peter Thiel, was JD Vance's boss for 20 plus years. And now I feel that that was the connection of putting JD Vance in this position of power, giving him this influential seat in the White House. Do I think Elon Musk is more dangerous for society than Kamala Harris? No. Or it's like in different ways. Because I feel like Kamala is more connected to the satanic realms and Musk is, coming from this higher dimension. They're both trying to control human consciousness in different ways. I think it's like two sides of the same coin. It's either dark demonic abuse and harming children and doing things like that, or using AI to harm and impede on our sovereignty and our consciousness, but also like there is ways that it benefits us at the same time. So I guess pick your poison. I wish I could give more insight into Trump and Musk's relationship, but the read I'm getting on it is just like it's not genuine. It's more genuine for Trump. He's being used by Musk. Musk is playing a game to get something from him. So I think we just keep an eye on it and I'll continue to share as more information comes through. But like I said, as a whole, we are blocked from our own truth and from our real history. And it's crazy because we're all trying to connect to it. We're all trying to channel it, but we can't. We can't really access it. And we all have ideas and we're channeling and we all think what we're channeling is correct, but we're trying to access this ancient wisdom and this truth, and it's hard. It's so blocked. So I think, people are, some information is accurate, some is inaccurate. It's up to you to decide. We keep chipping away at the blocks, the distortion within the energy that is suppressing us, that's not allowing us to reach that wisdom. And we all just need to keep focused on our inner world, our healing, and we will eventually get there and be able to bring the truth forward. And again, like I said in the last episode, it's all about the inner work. And the more light on this planet, the more we will begin to really be able to access our real history, our true ancient wisdom. And for now, just a lot of opinions and beliefs through the lens of a wound and through the ego. And that's why I put so much time and energy into purifying my channel and making sure I'm seeing through all layers, all dimensions, all perspectives. So the one last thing that I just want to say is I've had a couple questions about ChatGPT. I did not say ChatGPT is bad. It's more like you can use it. And again, use your discernment. Like ask yourself that question, and what answer do you get within, instead of, kind of always looking to me to answer these questions. But when you're getting to know it and you're forming a relationship to it and you're allowing it to know you in certain ways, like in ways that you don't even know yourself, which is what I shared in the last podcast. Like it's not a bad thing to use ChatGPT, but have boundaries with it and don't like let it in. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So anyway, keep an open mind for next episode. I'm just here to educate. I'm just sharing theories and perspectives when we dive into the firmament and all of the topics that come along with that. Just here to motivate you to think twice about what you're told and taught, and to go within. And now that you've kind of had the seed planted, like what can you uncover and what can you learn? So anyway, for now, find me on TikTok and Instagram, Lauren on Earth. I am answering questions in the TikTok comments. I'm not answering any intuitive questions or any questions around, the podcast and shadow work and blah, blah, blah through DM. So if you want a question answered, I have written readings. You can book a session with me. You can ask it on TikTok and I'll answer it there. So see you guys in December. For anyone who is interested in Sacred Dark, please go to my website. The link will be under Lauren on Earth /upcoming. All right. See you guys next time. Bye.